AEW is in a crisis following the events after All Out. We see a big WWE return, and of course our tribal chief hits another milestone. We're going to talk about it all in a second. This is Tweets of the Week. What's up, people? It's your boy Mex, the WrestleManiac, if you will, back again with another episode of Tweets of the Week. This is the episode where we dive into the Twitterverse and see what the people of the internet wrestling community were saying on this week's wrestling. And we all know this week has been crazy. 2022 keeps dishing us mad weeks just like this. And, you know, I think this may just top the lot. But we're going to jump into it in just a second. You guys know what to do. Hit the thumbs up button nice and early. Let's get it out of the way. Make sure you have subscribed to WRESTHINGS. A lot of new content is coming on the channel. So make sure you subscribe to WRESTHINGS and hit the notification bell so you know exactly when that content drops. Without further ado, let's get into it. Tweets of the Week. So we're going to start off by addressing the elephant in the room. We can't avoid it. And we're going to go to our guy Gareth at Gareth_EW, and Gareth says, probably worth saying that while CM Punk and FTR can be dickheads, they aren't genuinely bad people. They're normal people who have a disagreement with some other normal people and go about it the wrong way, in my opinion. Hangman just went about things the wrong way, just not as far. So after the events of All Out, I was one that definitely wanted CM Punk out the company. I was completely done with him. And I was being very, judge, as if I've never made a mistake in my life. I've calmed down since then. I'm still very not happy with how CM Punk conducted himself. And I just think that whatever the Elite's punishment should be following that scenario, Punk should have a more severe punishment. Not necessarily be kicked out of the company if that's not what they want to do, but more severe than what the Elite got themselves into. Now, everyone, we're just normal human beings, everyone is, and we make mistakes. So this is why I think I've kind of softened my stance on this, but we cannot lie, Punk is a reoccurring offender. And this is just what's gonna, tear the company from within. This entire week has been all about this press conference and not actually about All Out. And some notable things happened at All Out, one which we're going to talk about later. So CM Punk, FTR, The Elite, Hangman Page, Ace Steel, all of these guys, they all made a mistake. I understand that and I agree with that. And these things happen in wrestling for sure. We'll be lying if this is the first occasion of a falling out backstage in wrestling. However, the way it was all dealt with was poor. And yeah, I just think that next time, if there is a next time, Punk needs to be just outed from the company because there is too much on the line here. AEW have been doing such a good job and we just don't need all of this wahala once Punk comes back. This is a place of harmony. It's always kind of been seen as a place of harmony, and long may that continue. The next tweet we have is from @MachoBeard4Life, and they have to say, these are some dark times for AEW. If Tony Khan can't get a handle on his business, it might crumble right in front of his eyes just as fast as it rose up. Especially if AEW starts losing more key players. So I guess this is the other side to the scenario we were just talking about. It's Tony Khan and how he's dealing with these issues. Tony Khan sat there very passively. You could see the expressions on his face when CM Punk was kind of delivering this damning indictment on the whole company and the EVPs and everybody else. Tony Khan didn't agree with this. You could see his body language, his facial expressions. He didn't agree with it. Yet, it looks like the punishments aren't loud enough to show everybody that, look, this isn't gonna run in my company. We've heard a lot this past week that AEW backstage talents and other stuff like that, they're not happy with how this has been dealt with. They can't even believe Punk still has a job. So Tony Khan, again, I can't tell the man what to do with his company, but I feel like a stern public show of discipline would definitely help this and definitely set the standard in AEW. He can't be someone that's been walked over. He comes across as someone that is very cool with all the wrestlers, and clearly some people are taking the piss with that kind of setup with their relationship with their boss. So Tony Khan needs to do something where he kind of lays down the law, because yeah, he will start losing some of his top guys. We already heard that, the likes of the Elite had already said, they're done with the company, they're walking out following this exact scenario. And we've heard later on this week that Young Bucks are putting out feelers to possibly go to WWE. Now, you know, it's all rumors. That could just be them trying to work themselves into a better contract in AEW. However, you don't want your top talents flirting with the other side. We already got one on TV flirting with the other side in MJF. Cody has left earlier this year. You know, this is what Tony Khan really needs to settle and sort out, get control back of his company. Next up, we have a tweet from wrestling journalist Raj Giri at the Raj Giri, and he has to say, at this point, MJF talking about wanting to go to WWE and praising Triple H, Nick Khan, Cody is a bad idea. AEW have one of their top stars talking about WWE being the place to be at a time when WWE is on a roll, and they're not as hot as 6 months ago. Seems counterproductive. Now, it has to be said that this has been MJF's stick for quite some time now. That, you know, I want to go to WWE, the bidding war of 2024. This has been happening. We can't pretend that this is something that is just happening right now. However, I actually do agree with Raj. Given All Out, the events after All Out, this may not have been the time for MJF to cut such a promo. Of course, for those that don't know, MJF returned as the Joker in the Casino ladder match at All Out, and he actually won the chip. I mean, he didn't wrestle in the match, but he won the chip. And now MJF is saying that, you know, he's going to become AEW World Champion and possibly teasing taking that world title over to WWE come 2024. Like Raj is saying here, the timing of this exact promo is probably a bit wrong given the events of this week. We know this is his shtick, but MJF probably could have waited for all of the stuff from the weekend to calm down so that then he can mention this somewhere else down the line. With all the turmoil going on in AEW right now, for MJF to start naming WWE execs and people who like to work with and all of that kind of stuff, yeah, the timing is a bit bad, maybe a bit counterproductive. So yeah, MJF just needs to hold off on all of that stuff for the time being. We are bringing you some heat with these tweets this week. So if you are enjoying this video, please make sure you have hit the like button. And like I said earlier, subscribe to WRESTHINGS. A lot of new content is coming right here. Hit the notification bell as well. And we're gonna jump into the last few tweets from this week. Next up, we have a tweet from Blake Ostriker at BOstriker. And he says, Killer Cross, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. WWE is turning SmackDown into the land of the horses. I like it. Now, I wouldn't say that WWE is necessarily turning SmackDown into the land of the horses. Maybe they are. Maybe that's what they are looking to do. I don't quite see it that way. I just see that they are making, you know, a good effort to make the big guys credible threats. And that is what should happen. You know, this main event scene has been depleted for a long time now, mainly at the hands of Roman Reigns running through everybody, but just mainly because WWE weren't building new stars. And now there seems to be a conscious effort to build new stars, make at least the bigger guys feel like bigger guys, bigger presences. And that's exactly what we've been getting in the last couple of weeks, at least since Triple H took charge. It's been really, really good. Obviously, this past week, we saw Braun Strowman make his return to WWE. Big pop on WWE Raw when he came out in his red jeans, but we'll leave that for another time. And he also had a match on SmackDown, or was it just a beatdown? I don't remember now. A beatdown of Otis from Alpha Academy where he powerbombed Otis. Again, it's just, you know, building these guys back up from where they once were. Braun Strowman 2016 to 2018 was a real monster, not just by name. This guy was a real monster doing kind of disastrous work. So we want to get Braun Strowman back to that kind of level. And just like it was mentioned here in this tweet, there's a lot of other guys that are being built up really well. So long may it continue. The last tweet this week comes from @WrestlingWCC, and they have to say, 1,000 days since Roman Reigns was last pinned. Short and simple one there, isn't it? Roman Reigns, 1,000 days of this reign, he hasn't been pinned. It's absolutely crazy. This is a monstrous run. We all saw Clash of the Castle. Now look, I know a lot of us thought that, you know, Drew McIntyre should win just for the sake of, you know, having those titles on TV every week. A lot of people were still behind Roman Reigns and just thought that, you know, Roman is just too good to lose right now. Now, I'm somewhere in the middle. I do agree with the sentiment of Roman, but I do want those titles on TV every week. And I thought, you know, if Roman's not going to be around, then I'll take Drew coming in and being champion, maybe even splitting those titles and we get a title back on Raw. Look, everything is mad right now. Roman Reigns, I don't even know when this run is going to end. I thought that it was going to be here with Drew. You know, a lot of other names have been kind of thrown into it. People are mentioning The Rock still. Cody Rhodes is, I guess, the favorite. Seth Rollins, someone who he actually has not lost to on this run. So I don't know. You guys put down below in the comments who is now your number one pick to beat Roman Reigns as he continues on this crazy run. 2 years as Universal Champion, 1,000 days not pinned. This guy is eating up all the accolades this year. Guys, there you have it. We have talked AEW tweets of the week. We have talked WWE tweets of the week. But if there was something that slipped through the cracks that we didn't discuss, make sure you hit us up at WRESTHINGS on Twitter. Hit us with a DM, hit us with a mention, hit us with anything you want us to see on the timeline, and we'll talk about it next week. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, like this video. And if you are new to WRESTHINGS, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time the Mandem drop a new video. I will be back next week with some more tweets of the week. Until then, I'll see you later.